There are brands, micro brands, where in time I became suspicious about them, and Baltic is one of these. Silently indeed, I was a challenger of the bronze, and I bought the new Hermetic bronze model, hoping that it will change my opinion about their wristwatches. But the question is, will it happen? To my knowledge, Baltic came out of nowhere and jumped into a hype train at the end of 2019 and then exploded in 2021 with a lot of exposure from the biggest media channels dedicated to our niche, YouTube, and the rest of the blogs with paid content. So if you want watch collectors which aren't engaging with YouTube reviews, don't know pretty much anything about the Baltic brand. Basically, the hype for the brand was mostly created around YouTube and the classic paid blogs. ChatGPT says Baltic emphasizes quality and craftsmanship, typically using Swiss movements in their watches, ensuring precision and reliability. My assumption is Baltic captured a lot of interest and faithful clients, succeeding to find the perfect trajectory to reach these premium media channels, surprisingly, because if you are an unknown brand and if you don't have money, you won't reach them for sure. I was surprised on how much exposure and enthusiasm the brand captured, having potential flaws in their value proposition. I know their designs are nicely sized and finished, but the movements proposed were always at the limit of, let's say, cheapifying their products against the price asked. Miyota 8 and 9 series or Hangzhou 5000, these aren't Swiss-made watches, made in China most likely. Concluding that the product margin for Baltic watches feels bigger compared to other Asian micro brands. I did own the Aquascape GMT with a Sauerkraut movement, which is retailing currently at 1,200 euros, which is, in my opinion, a lot for a non-Swiss model. The most relevant example was the Micro Rotor MR model with the Hangzhou 5000, offered by Baltic for $640. A Chinese micro brand with the same movement was $190. Now it's $226, but the watch was nicely finished. Anyway, you get the idea. It feels like they're brilliant in understanding how to package the right attributes based on user feedback and the trend's preferences to create the ideal vintage-inspired watches. Promoted on the right media channels to keep the curiosity and attraction on for the watch enthusiasts. That's valuable nowadays without a doubt, but I still believe they are too expensive for what they offer to be realistically worth the hype created around the brand. So yeah, Baltic is one of the hype brands out there. Deserved, undeserved, I don't know, but I'll leave you to jump into conclusions. In the meantime, I said reset, buy the new Hermetic bronze model because I liked it, and see if the watch will change my mind about the brand. This one came after I presented my watch collection, if you wondered, that's why you haven't seen it. DHL came, they gave me the package, I opened it, and what do you know? The watch is beyond amazing. I took it, I put it on the wrist, I left to meet my fellow watch enthusiasts. We kinda had a Christmas gathering, themed obviously with wristwatches. I said hi, I showed them the watch, and everyone was like, what? I believe it was one of the most complimented watches out there. Everyone was impressed by the looks and the way it wears on the wrist. And I confirmed this Hermetic model in reality is fabulous. If the stainless steel model was great, the bronze one is a step up in completing its identity as a vintage-inspired watch. As product identity, I do believe they wanted to create a totally dependable tool or field watch which sits extremely well on the wrist and under a cuff or a jacket, due to its slim case profile and the overall reduced size, because on the wrist it wears pretty small. I think this watch was purposed for, I don't know, adventure, traveling, mountaineering, having a hidden crown, an increased waterproofness of 15 bar, but also crazy potent lume, which feels to be at the Seiko level, remaining visible for the entire duration of a night. I'd dare to say a complete watch without any major flaws or even better ifs. I think the movement works as well. I personally like the 9 series Miyota movements. Now, this is not an innovation in regard to the design. It feels like there are multiple inspired elements and attributes which are put together into a dial, sized and shaped in a smart way to obtain an exciting, well-contrasted, true vintage aspect. This is one of my preferred designs because besides the case and the color, I love the syringe hands design as well as the addition of the loom pip at the second hand, actually the overall emphasis on offering amazing looms similar to a trustworthy diver watch. This, with the addition of a diving bezel, can be an ideal skin diver on the market, maybe a Black Bay 54 killer. So yeah, it happens to be complemented. When you see it for the first time, you feel like you have a formal watch of the 80s, but tailored and accented in a way to please your eye and to keep it modern, obviously. Because this Bronze Hermétique provides a pure contrast play between the green fumé tone and the yellow gold tone of the bronze case, accented in the center of the dial as well through a discrete golden circle, but through the hands as well. The Bronze launched two more colors available, the bronze blue and the bronze brown, but this one feels the most inspired in my opinion. There is also the three-dimensional aspect that adds complexity and curiosity to the watch. The numerals and the markers being embossed, they focused on offering maximum legibility and practicality, because if the markers were, let's say, outlined in metal, probably the practical aspect of it would have been diminished. Also, I think this embossing creates the identity of the watch, because if we were to finger point one single aspect which defines the Hermétique model, this must be it. The case in detail feels to tick all the boxes needed for a practical watch. Flat case back, thin profile, box crystal, drill lugs, all the attributes to create a case which sits nicely on the wrist surface. The bronze case, after a few days, it started to capture patina. Initially, I thought it was somehow coated or treated to keep it shine for a longer period, but finally it started to fade. As case accents, I was impressed by the polished bezel ring. Normally, not so many brands are using polished accents on bronze cases, especially on the bezel, but more blasting and brushing, which ultimately are transforming the watches into completely matte cases. But I'm really curious how the polished area will patina and fade over time. The crown was actually the first to patina. I love how it is incorporated into the case profile and how it changed its color compared to the brushing profile. But overall, the way the crown is positioned, it provides a modern take and a contradiction for the classic case types. As quick specs, the Baltic Hermétique Tourer measures 37mm in diameter with 46mm as lug tip to lug tip, 10.8mm in height, 20mm between the lugs and weights around 17 grams. Has a non-screw-in crown, sapphire crystal, 150mm as waterproofness, a bronze case with a metallic case back, and inside we have the self-winding Miyota 9039 with 28800 VPH, 42 hours power reserve, and the price of this watch in Europe is 740 euros. The rubber strap is interesting. Initially, I couldn't see this design on a rubber strap, but only once you have it on the wrist you can understand the reasoning. Basically, the case is thin, but also the rubber strap is an ultra thin and comfortable version of a Tropic strap, complemented with a nice bronze buckle. I personally think it works, although currently my wrist size is between the strap holes, being either too loose or too tight for me, so I'll have to gain some more weight. But I much prefer to wear it on a good quality strap like this Anniversary Dark Green 7 Friends and Watches leather. If interested, I will leave the link in the description. Conclusions. Based on my assumptions about the brand, which are personal, I might be wrong, but in general, I'm not. Wearing this model for a week already, I can conclude that this watch is spectacular in person and will definitely please your eyes every time you're checking the time for sure. The ratio between the watch quality, the movement against the price is at the limit in my opinion, but overall I think it's a pass. I'm afraid I'll have to recommend this watch to you. Apparently none of my previous bronze watches lasted in my collection due to the bronze oxide bitter specific smell, but this one feels it doesn't provide that smell. So definitely this will not be a reason for me to ever sell it. So that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed it, or maybe hope this video was insightful for you. With the usual curiosity, what do you think about this new Baltic Hermétique model made in bronze? Please let me know in the comments below. And as usual, if you're new around, please consider subscribing for future episodes. Thank you very much, thanks for watching, and until next time, be brave and stay safe.